In this video, we're gonna cover a few things that Club 30 could do to improve their views and improve their reach. And I think they're doing an amazing job with the production. And I just wanna look at the channel and give you kind of my insight on what I see when I look at this channel and how they could do much better. The thing that I think they're not utilizing well is their thumbnails. I was a little bit heartbroken that a podcast with such a high quality, when you go inside and you look at the views, they're not what they should be, especially when you have people of this caliber. For example, the episode that I saw was with Rick Hoffman. Now, this episode, when you look at it, it only has 12,000 views. And that to me is a missed opportunity because Rick, he's a great actor, he's super well known. Let's look at the channel itself. The problem that I see with this thumbnail is that you can barely see the person. You can barely see the actor because you have the two faces, which I like. The thing that I would do completely different is to bring them up so their face covers a higher percentage of the thumbnail so you can actually see them. Doing that, I think they could increase their click-through rate, probably double it. And in the next 3 months, they could probably double the amount of views that they're getting per episode, only with that simple change of making the face of the celebrity bigger. Now, the other thing that we're missing is this interview with Rick. We don't know what the episode is about. So maybe you saw that person and you know the actor, but you don't have a text pulling you in to know what is the episode really about. So for example, when we click on the episode,
I went in for this show that was even recently, you never use props. Oh, really? It's a golden rule. You don't use props. And I'm bringing in fucking Play-Doh and shit. What?
So you see, it opens up, and right now, if that same thumbnail, if he said, I never had done this on a show, imagine his face with that quote, you would have gotten a way higher click-through rate on that thumbnail. It's not even clickbait because it's actually what he's talking about. So playing with the curiosity and having the person and saying that they haven't done something, that's gonna get you way more views. So for example, if you see here on the right corner, we have a suggestion from another interview, and it's Harvey Specter, the character from the TV show that Hoffman was on. So see how they're using that same strategy, and that video has 1.7 million views. So that shows you how much more effective you can be when you have your thumbnail with a close-up shot and then like a singer of a quote. So something else that can be done differently with this channel is this episode is 54 minutes long. I can guarantee you that they get into a bunch of different stories and different little tidbits that could be really interesting. They are not using that to the full extent by doing segments. So everyone is going crazy over shorts on social media, and like I do the same with my podcast and with some of the people that we work with. You can take a full 1 hour episode and you could probably get about 8 good reels that can go viral on social media. But where people miss out on a huge opportunity is the segments or the clips. When you create 8-minute clips, it's a lot easier for someone to click on something that is only going to be 8 minutes. And you also multiply the chances that you can create a great thumbnail and title for a segment like that. For example, this one is Rick Hoffman is not who he plays on TV. So that gives you, from that interview, you have one thumbnail and one title. That's all you can get out of that. But if you take that interview and then you break it down, in this case, they're not doing the optimization of having the chapters of all the different things that it was talked in the interview. When you have an episode that actually has that, I'm going to show you on my channel. If we go and look at that interview with Justin, when you look at it, we create the full episode, and that episode got 350,000 views. Then we created a clip that got another 82,000 views. And then we have another clip that went viral and has 583,000 views. When you add that up, it's the same interview. We just broke down in 2 or 3 different clips plus the interview. When you add that up, you have almost 1 million views total, which is like 3 times more than what I got with the episode itself. Now, when you go into the episode, we do something down here that is pretty simple. Everybody does it. And it's breaking down these chapters about all the different things that were spoken in the episode. The reason why that would get this Club 30 a bunch more views is because YouTube not only shows these chapters, if you scroll down, you also see how these chapters are segmented already into clips. And what happens with this is, if you think of YouTube as an extension of Google, whenever someone searches for Rick Hoffman, if you had Rick Hoffman's episode broken down by chapters, if we go to Google and we look for Rick Hoffman and we look for videos, see how this video is here and they hit the top. So you see the first short is the short that I watch, then the episode is there, but then you don't have anything else. You could have gotten all of these different chapters show up as a video result on Google if you had indexed that episode. And it's something that it doesn't take that much work. It's just being intentional about doing that kind of thing that could really transform how many more views you get out of one episode. With that being said, we're gonna look at the channel and see how we can find a few more things to tweak. So if we go to videos, we see that they have 150 videos, which is amazing. Now, when you look at popular, we have these people over here, right? So imagine that you did the same strategy with this episode that got 78,000 views. If we could find the hot moments in that episode, this one has a chapter, so this one did a lot better. So here we can see the retention data on the episodes. In this moment here, where the curve is going up, you know that there is something interesting. Sometimes it happens because of the ads, so you have to be a little bit more intentional about it. But I will go here where you have a sustained retention curve. So here where he's talking about his favorite Ranger moments, that is a complete different segment that I would clip out and create a little thumbnail and a bit of an intro for that single thing and just release that as a separate episode. So if you did that right now, they have 150 videos. Let's say that you did that for half of the episodes, that will give you another 75 videos that could potentially have the same or even higher views than the initial episodes because they're going to be more specific on a topic. So everyone thinks about YouTube based on subscribers. And you think that, okay, if I get enough subscribers, I'm going to have a bunch of views. But it just doesn't work like that anymore. YouTube right now is working based on a per video algorithm. And what does that mean? Instead of YouTube thinking of your channel as a whole and every episode getting the same treatment when it comes to show it to an audience, what YouTube is doing is analyzing each video by itself, and then it will show that video to a person that matches the audience psychographics of that video. So for example, if your channel has a lot of athletes, it will show those videos to someone who's interested in watching sports. But in this case, I saw a video from this channel because it was an actor. Because I'm a director and I'm always looking at interviews and like watching videos with other actors and that kind of stuff, I got served that video. Right now with this podcast, when I go into it, I don't really know exactly what the podcast is about. So I see that in the branding, this icon, Club 30, is a little bit hard to read. Henrik Lundqvist, I don't know who he is, and I don't have context regarding on who he is, but I see this hockey picture here. So I'm just looking at it from the straight point of view of the audience coming into a channel and not knowing anything about you, which happens a lot. Like, I'm sure they put a lot of effort into creating this, and I love that the channel looks really professional. But where we're missing the point is someone that doesn't know them, they come over here and they don't have enough information to know what content pillars I can find on that podcast. And people do it different ways. Some channels will do it with actual text telling you what the different things that they talk about in the channel are. And some other people will do it with faces. So that's something that is a visual representation of the content of the channel, which I like when people do that properly. So over here, I would have pictures with real live images of the hosts and the type of guests that they bring to the channel. And I would do something a little bit more along the lines of mentioning the for example, if they have sports, actors, musicians, like what are the type of guests that I can expect here? That would help you increase your subscriber rate. But not only that, it just makes it easier for you to understand what are the big buckets of content that you're going to be creating in the channel. And then what I would do is, they have been doing this for a while, right? So I would come here and see, okay, my top 4 episodes, they have 78,000, 48, 30, 20,000. How can I find new guests that fit whatever those people bring to the table so I can expand that bucket? And by doing that, it simplifies the type of guests that you're going to be bringing on the show, but it also helps you grow in that niche. And not only the niche, you're also going after a specific avatar of audience member that is going to watch that type of show. And another piece that they could do a little bit better is the game in shorts. Find a way that you can implement more images into those shorts. So for example, when you watch this one,
Clint Eastwood told me to never, ever have anybody tell me to not use my voice in anything I do, because
so imagine that same thing cut up in a way that you don't have so many pauses and you actually see a shot of Clint Eastwood, who's someone that is very recognizable. Also on the short name, they have Clint Eastwood's advice for Rick Hoffman. I would just say something like, Clint Eastwood told me this when I was 25, or like something that is a little bit more, like has a bit more of a hook to it. I think that would help their shorts go substantially higher. Doing these few tweaks, I think the channel can blow up, probably double or triple the amount of views that they're getting in the next 3 months. So I hope you guys found that useful. If you have any questions, please hit me up on social media. I'm always willing to talk to other people working in media and creating podcasts.